we are going to go over the plagiarism or originality checker that we now have full access to through Google Enterprise for Education. When I say full access, previously it could only be run 3 times for an assignment. Now it can be run infinitely. So it is a really nice tool to have at your disposal at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and enter in some stuff. We're going to create a document that the student, aka me, will enter into a document. And I'm going to go ahead and name this just so I can find it easier afterwards and delete it. So I have it named, make a copy for each student. So the thing that you are going to want to do on your end for setup is to select this checkbox that enables the plagiarism or originality checker for the students. Just in case you forget to do this, you can edit your assignments later and activate it. So if you forget, it's not a big worry. You can activate it later. So I've got everything set up the way I want. I'm going to go ahead and assign. So that's it for the teacher setup. Everything is the same, just making sure that we check that box. So now we're going to switch over and look at it from the student side. So go to classwork, go to the assignment, and I always go into what I call the assignment hub, which you can get to by clicking View Assignment. And the reason I find this important is because you aren't going to miss anything for an assignment if you go here. So we're going to go ahead and open up the essay, and lucky for all of you, I have an essay that I wrote up real quick for this instance, and I discovered something, you guys. After years of having it ingrained in my head not to plagiarize, be it here or further education, it was really hard for me to plagiarize this. It killed me a little bit, and it was very difficult. So I have my very illustrious essay, and you're welcome. So I will close it. And before I turn it in, we're going to run our originality report so that we can make sure we have as little, if any, plagiarizing. Wow, that word got away from me. Any plagiarizing in the essay. And the way we do that is this originality report section is new when the teacher selects it as an option. So we will just come over here to run. This just tells you that your originality report is visible to only you, until which time you turn it in, and then any and all originality reports you run will be visible to your teacher so that they can keep track and see that you made the proper adjustments if you had a higher level of plagiarism in earlier drafts. So underneath your essay, we now have this. It is a hyperlink. It doesn't look like our normal blue hyperlink, but it is a hyperlink. We can tell because when we hover over it, it has a gray box around it, which tells us that it is clickable. So we're going to go ahead and click it. It'll bring my essay up, and it will highlight sections that I have plagiarized with gray, and it is pretty daggum accurate. Granted, I did not go to these particular websites, but that doesn't really surprise me that it didn't get the websites 100% right, because there is so much information all over the internet that is being plagiarized. So the important part of this is that it did in fact catch the website, it did in fact catch the plagiarized sections of my essay. These are the exact portions that I plagiarized, minus the word characters, because that I wrote all by myself. It was really hard, you guys, but I did. So it'll tell us a count, it'll tell us how many passages have been plagiarized, and it will tell us from what website it found those passages, so we can look through that way. For some of the classes I've taken, they look more at percentage, and they will normally set a percentage that you are not allowed to exceed, because it is very difficult to have a completely 100% original essay. So they account for it, and they set a relatively low percentage that you are not allowed to exceed. If you do, most of my classes have done one of two things. They've either given you an instantaneous 0, or they return it to you, mark it as late, and will cut a good chunk of your grade off because of it. Because this tool was accessible and you had the ability to change it before giving it to your teacher. So make sure that you are checking that. If you have cited information, had I cited any of this correctly, I could have gone ahead and excluded that from the overall percentage, but I did not. So at this point, I could go into the essay and edit the passages that it finds as being plagiarized. That way I could run the Originality Report again and have a more realistic and acceptable level. Yeah. Once you are done editing it or looking over your Originality Report, you're just going to close it. It'll bring you back to your assignment hub, at which point we can then turn in the assignment to our teacher. That is it on the student's end. So we are going to switch back one more time to the teacher's end, because now we can see what that Originality Report will look like that is handed in with the essay. So we're going to open up the assignment, and we are going to view the individual student's work. By clicking on their assignment, it'll open up our teacher homework hub, assignment hub, and we have the essay in front of us. This is a view that you are probably very familiar with, teachers, where you can comment, edit, highlight, all of that stuff. You can leave your private comments to help edit, but the thing that is new with this plagiarism or originality check is this hyperlink down here that says 4 flagged passages. That tells me right off the bat that there were 4 passages in this essay that were plagiarized. I can go ahead and click that, and it will take me to the exact report that the student saw. And it breaks it down into count, percentage, website, cited or non-cited, so that you can see if the student has made any progress to remove plagiarized passages and keep track of that. The important thing for students and staff to remember is that there is a 2-week window for an Originality Report before it expires. This is going to be something to pay attention to if you have a longer assignment that you want to run an Originality Report on regularly that's due a ways out. So keep that in mind as you are going through running these on long-term essays and projects. And that is it in a nutshell. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me or comment on this or ask me when you see me in passing. So that is it. Have fun. Happy learning.